Steve, what age are you going to take Social Security?
Well, it's going to be 70, of course.
And I'm going to take mine at 62.
Yes, absolutely. What you have to do is go to the website, Social Security website. And we've been watching Sarasota Tim. We love his show.
Hey, Tim.
And he says that when you're 62, you should take Social Security unless you're rich or you have a good job. Then you can live on what Social Security will pay for the remainder of your life.
Oh, we're not necessarily rich or have a good job, but Steve is going to wait until he's 70. We're going to give the perspective of a married couple. I'm Sue.
And I'm Steve, and we're aging joyfully.
Now, before we get started, let's say that there is a statement that you are able to get from Social Security. You go on the website. I'll put that down below. It is simple, ssa.gov. And you get a statement on a yearly basis. That website will provide you with all of your retirement amounts if you take it between 62 and 70. 62 is the youngest, 70 is the oldest. It will also provide you with disability amounts if you become disabled or your spouse becomes disabled, or you are raising a child while your spouse passed away. Lots of information, but we are only looking at the retirement aspect today.
Right, exactly. And so this is retirement in the U.S., and it's important that you go to the website and you look at what dollars are going to benefit you the most. Because if you wait until you're 70, yes, you do get more Social Security, but then you also have to look at your life expectancy. And it's good to get more, but it may not work out to be the best idea if your life expectancy is maybe 73. Maybe you're not in the best of health, but you sure do want to check the website.
So the difference in dollar amounts is 8% more each year you wait, or about 30% once you reach your full retirement age, which mine is 67 and Steve's is 67 and 10 months. So Steve, why are we going to wait until you are 70 to take Social Security?
Well, there's two reasons. The first one is you get more money when you reach 70. And also the second reason is that if I was to die, then Sue would be left with receiving the higher amount checks every month.
Right. The average life expectancy today, there was a couple of different numbers, but what I found in between different websites was 73 for men and 79 for women. This is in the U.S. of 2023, and it has been declining over the last couple of years.
And that's sad. People are, not in good health, and I think the pandemic also didn't help life expectancy. So, you really have to go to the website and look at the scale and understand, when it's the best advantageous for you to take it.
Right. You need to consider your longevity, your health status, your lifestyle, your retirement goals. It's a serious decision. We are not financial advisors. We are just saying what we are considering in taking for our retirement.
Right. And if you have a spouse, you do want to leave your spouse with the most that you possibly can in a monthly check.
Now, if you take it at 62, this dollar amount is set for life. You can possibly, if you change your mind within the first 12 months, you can maybe refund the money and try to apply at a later date.
Right. I don't know that you want to do that, only because not many people save the money. If you're getting it, I would think you're living on it. And so paying it back is not going to be easy.
So if you think, hey, I want to take it at 62, if you just wait 1 month, you're going to get 2/3 of 1%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a few dollars. It may make the difference. Now, I will say that we were always set on 70 because of circumstances that we had a rough time through the Great Recession, and we were trying to boost Steve's monthly earnings. But Sarasota Tim has made us reevaluate it, and we have considered taking it before 70.
Right. And so we're in the planning phase right now and trying to figure out all of the different aspects of whether it's worth it for us to take it at 70 or maybe sooner.
Now, I did a break-even analysis, and you do have to assume when somebody's going to die. I assumed Steve was going to die at 80. If he died at 80 and took it at his full retirement age of 66 and 10 months, that's a break-even point. If he were to live beyond 80 and he took his retirement at 66 and 10 months, he would have lost money.
Yeah, and I know it's hard to think about, or you don't want to think about death of a spouse or loved one, but it's important to face that reality. It's going to happen. And so why not make sure you're in the best position for when it happens?
When I'm looking at this break-even point, that is a lump sum. So I am taking the number of years, or I'm taking the number of months times the monthly benefit at his retirement age up to 80 and getting a lump sum figure versus him passing away at 81. So I'm looking at lump sum, not monthly amounts. So it's a big difference. It's a lump sum over your life versus the monthly amount. I know people tend to look at monthly amounts. So when you're looking at taking it, you may say, hey, at 70, I'm getting this much. Now, with life expectancy being 73 for men, one parent lived to 85 and one parent died at 59. So it's hard to know. His brothers are healthy and they are living well into their 70s. So he could actually live beyond 80.
Right, exactly. So you kind of have to gauge that. It is a guess, because nobody really knows when you're going to die. But you have to make the best educated guess so that you maximize the amount of money that you get, because really it's kind of like a game. So you have to, it's all a game. It's a guessing game because nobody knows when they're going to die. But you also have to weigh in there that at 62, if you were to take Social Security, the amount that you get is lower than if you take it at 70. But if you take it at 62, there's more years that you benefit from that lower amount than if you were to take it at 70 and get a higher amount for less years. So you kind of have to weigh which one do you want or which one do you need. I mean, we believe in pushing off Social Security till as late as possible to get the higher amount.
Well, I've been trying to convince Steve to retire before 70 because I do agree with Sarasota Tim that your health does decline. I mean, it's been declining off and on for years. So yes, I would like to do some things now. Our biggest issue besides this is health insurance. Where do you get health insurance from? The Affordable Care Act is about the only place, right?
Right.
And it's not affordable. You have to get subsidies, and that's based on income. So if you take your Social Security, that may push your income higher where you're going to get fewer subsidies. And actually, I don't know what it costs. I just know when we had to get health insurance through the Great Recession, it was $1,500 a month. That was before the Affordable Care Act. Well, if you're only getting $1,700 like Tim or $2,000, you can't pay for health insurance of $1,500 a month.
Right.
That's a big concern.
It becomes unaffordable.
Well, it was unaffordable during the Great Recession. We wiped out our savings to keep health insurance because we didn't want to lose our house. So that is a big issue, health insurance. So that's one thing holding us back from retiring today is that Steve's job does provide health insurance. So even though it doesn't have a high pay, it has health insurance, which, like I said, could be $1,500 a month.
Right, exactly. So there's a lot of factors that you have to weigh, but you need to start thinking about it sooner than later. If you're, in your 50s, you might want to start planning when you're going to take Social Security and think about all of these expenses and how you're going to live if you retire without a steady income. So we don't have pensions, and that's why we have to be very strategic and careful with our planning and how money is going to provide for us in the years after I retire.
Right, and we've been looking into Medicare and Medicare Advantage when we do get on the health insurance, and that's not cheap. I mean, if you have to get Medicare in a gap policy, that's roughly $164.90 or so. Plus, the gap policy is another $200 to $300 per person. So we're figuring our health insurance, even in retirement, is going to be $1,000. That's not really affordable.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. That's our monthly premiums. That's a lot. That's $12,000 a year.
Now, Social Security covers 96% of American workers. Who doesn't it cover? That would be government workers, like perhaps railroad or federal or state employees. So I know when I worked at a school, they offered a pension if you worked 10 years or more, but they did not withhold Social Security. They assumed that you would retire with this pension. Now, I did not retire with a pension, so I have neither Social Security or a pension from working at that school. So that is a concern. Now, the people who do retire there with a pension, their Social Security benefits are reduced because they have a government pension. So that is a big factor. If these teachers taught there for, say, 10 years, say when they graduate college from 22 to 32, then stay home for 10 or 15 years with children, well, they don't have retirement. They have to be 60 to get that pension, and it's going to be very, very much reduced. They won't get any Social Security because nothing was withheld. They get another job that they have Social Security withheld, it will be reduced based on the pension they are going to receive at 60, which is very low. So this is so complicated, and so many different factors and so many different scenarios that you really need to examine that website and try to figure out, because every case is so unique.
So if you take Social Security at 62 and you're still going to work, you could only make $21,240 annually. That's not a lot.
And then if you do make more than that, they will withhold $1 for every $2 above that amount that you make. So they're going to keep 50% of your earnings. It's not worth it at all to be working at that point. But if you find that you take Social Security and retire and you can't live on it, I mean, rents today, gosh, you can't find anything. You'd be lucky to find something for $1,500. Our rents are $2,000 to $2,500 in this area.
Right. So it's a big decision to make, and it's something you might want to contemplate for years before you pull the trigger on when you're going to retire or when you're going to collect Social Security.
Well, I know we could never live on taking Social Security for Steve at 62. We could never live on that dollar amount. So we would have to pull from our 401ks, which would boost us into the higher tax bracket, and we wouldn't get the subsidies for the health insurance. Then we'd be wiping out our 401ks for health insurance.
Yes, so you just have to really analyze it and come to a conclusion as to when you're going to take that risk.
I mean, we'd love to retire now. I would love for Steve to quit. If we did, of course, we'd have to sell the house. There's no way we could possibly keep the house. And then where do you rent? I mean, we've looked at tiny homes. We're about to start looking at apartments in smaller towns. We're going to start looking at rents in smaller towns, different states, see what rents are in apartments. Where do you live? I mean, Social Security I don't know what the average Social Security is. I did have it. The average monthly Social Security check is $1,701, very close to what Sarasota Tim is getting himself. When money is withheld from your check, it is put into a Social Security trust fund. That trust fund is going to be able to pay benefits until 2034. At that point, they will only have enough money to pay $800 of every $1,000 of benefits. That's a 20% reduction that they're going to have to do to your Social Security payments. Or there are many other things they can do, but neither side, Republicans or Democrats, will take the initiative to solve this crisis that is coming up in just 11 years. So if you were to take that reduced amount in 2034, it could be reduced again another 20%.
Wow, that's a lot. You think about it, you want every dime that you possibly can get, and 20% is a lot.
And of course, if you're older and you think, well, am I going to be alive in 11 years? I want the money now. I don't know. There's so many factors to consider in taking. Now, I am going to take mine at 62. Why is that?
Okay. So Sue's going to take hers at 62. And the reason for that is because she really hasn't been paying into it, being a family manager. So I don't really pay her a whole lot. I definitely don't take out Social Security. So
yeah, I make nothing for cutting the grass and paying the bills.
Good deal on my part.
We considered this as we are a team. So we made the decision as a team, not as an individual, but as a married couple. Because Steve has made significantly more than me, I'm going to take it. And when I read that if we do lose that 20% in 2034, I have such a small amount that I actually would probably not lose it. They said there is a lower threshold where you will not lose that amount. And I believe that I will not lose anything because my amount is so small. So for me, it is just not worth it. Also, in addition to that, because I am several years younger than Steve, I will get his if he were to pass away before me. So financially, doing a break-even analysis, mine is definitely more advantageous to take it at 62. Most people, you really have to review all the facts, how much money you need to live, your longevity. If you are married, this is for all married couples. If you're in a legally married relationship, this applies to you as well. Anybody who's legally married in the U.S. gets the surviving spouse. 3.8 million widows and widowers are receiving Social Security benefits. So this is a big deal. A big deal.
Yep, it is. It's a big deal. I mean, because really, you've worked for this and you've paid into it, obviously. And so, you need to enjoy this benefit.
So we are in our newly painted blue room, but this will be our last time as we bring the bed in. We haven't done that yet.
Yes, we have this open space right here that we're utilizing.
It is a process as you get older to do these projects.
It sure is. And boy, I'll tell you, it definitely seems like it takes forever.
So you think carefully, go on that website, get your yearly statement. It's online. It doesn't have to come in the mail anymore. Originally, when we got them, they did come in the mail. They are now online.
Yes, and take your time, make good decisions. This is to last you the rest of your life.
With rent so high,
gasoline, living expenses.
I don't know how anyone can afford to live in America anymore.
Yes.
Until we see you again.
Take it easy.